Night of Champions is in the books. This was what we were told in advance coming into the show was very likely the final match between John Cena and CM Punk. John Cena is done at the end of this year. And we have not had John Cena and CM Punk in the ring one-on-one in 12 years. So this entire show was built around this main event tonight for the WWE Championship. And, you know, when I knew that they were doing this match in Night of Champions, I was actually disappointed because this to me is a SummerSlam match. Like, this is so much bigger than just Night of Champions or Saturday night's main event or, you know, a show like that. And the matches that they had in the past, really all of the matches that Punk and Cena have had in the past were at least good. Some of them are just classics. You know, their Money in the Bank match, their Raw match. They had a great SummerSlam match many years ago. But John Cena has not had too many great matches. Let's just put it that way. Since he has started this retirement tour, he is not the same in-ring performer that he was even just 5 years ago. Just not there anymore. Which is not to say that he was, you know, flying around the ring doing all this crazy shit even before. But clearly it all depends on who he is in the ring with and who his opponent is going to be. He had a lot of history going into Backlash against Randy Orton, right? So many matches over the years. Those guys shared the ring so many times, I couldn't even begin to tell you how many times it was. And they went in there at Backlash, and they actually had what ended up being a really good match. With Punk, I had great optimism that there was still some of that old magic left, right? We got a little taste of it at the Elimination Chamber. They had a little exchange in that match. But I was hopeful that we would be able to recapture some of that on this show tonight. I am happy to say that they went in there and they had what I thought was a good match. The chemistry between them is still there. Do I think the match they had at Night of Champions is going to go down as one of the best matches that the two of them have ever had? Top 3? Anything like that? No, not even close. But there was still something there between them. And I still feel the same way that I felt before, which is that this is a match that should have been saved for a bigger show like SummerSlam. But Triple H obviously has a vision for Cody Rhodes going into SummerSlam. He has his story, which is still unfinished business between him and John Cena. What we got in the main event tonight, honestly, it felt to me like a diet version of what we had at WrestleMania last year between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. That match was overbooked to all hell. I said that's the Avengers Endgame of WWE is what I called it at the time, because you had so many people getting involved and so many different stories intertwined, and they all came to a head at the same time, right, in that match. But it all made sense. It all made for a very exciting match. We kind of got a version of that here. It was not nearly as exciting as that was, but that was my first thought. This is like a diet version of what they did at WrestleMania last year with all of the interference that we had here in this match, because Seth Rollins came out with his new posse and he teased possibly cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase. He came out there with Braun Breaker and he came out there with Bronson Reed, and he made you think that he was going to cash in that briefcase, but then all of these other people started showing up. Penta showed up in the main event. I mean, look, I'm glad that Penta got a cameo in the main event. He hasn't gotten a whole hell of a lot lately. So, I mean, good to see him. But I tell you, the first time I heard that music hit and I saw Penta come out, I said, what the fuck? Penta coming out during the main event. But he's had his issues in recent history with, again, they still have no name. We'll call them the Heyman Alliance, okay, until they come up with something better. So he's had his issues with them lately. Sami Zayn comes back out, you know, during the main event to try to fight them off as well, right? So all of this stuff is going on. You got the ref bump. You got all of this stuff that you would normally see in an overbooked main event. And it made sense. Like, you can overbook something for the sake of doing it. You could overbook it in a way that doesn't make sense, or you can overbook it in a way where, okay, at least the people who are coming out and getting involved, right? Like, it makes sense. But I'm a little sad because for what will likely end up being the final John Cena CM Punk match, it's just the sort of thing that I don't think they needed. But it was clear that CM Punk was not winning this championship, and so this was WWE's way of protecting him. How are we going to protect Punk in defeat instead of just having him be kicked in the dick like everybody else and pinned? And this is what they came up with. We had a fake out on the cash-in. There was no Money in the Bank cash-in in the end. He tried. Rollins tried. But in the end, John Cena sneaks out a win, pins CM Punk, and retains the WWE Championship. And there was no feeling that I had coming out of this show that would indicate to me that they're going to run this back again. We do have a show coming up in a few weeks on NBC. It's called Saturday Night's Main Event. If they wanted to do a Cena Punk rematch, that would be the place to do it. I don't think they're going to. I don't really see the point in doing it. If they did this to protect Punk, what are you going to run it back for and then just beat him? I think this was it. I think this was the final chapter in their feud. What they gave us here was good. It was good. There were a lot of finisher spam. I mean, you have to expect that, right? Constant attitude adjustment attempt, GTS attempt. Dude, we were seeing this in John Cena matches 12 years ago. I mean, that's not really a shock. So we got a lot of that in that match as well. But when it was over, CM Punk got fucked over once more by Seth Rollins. And I'm watching this and I'm thinking, well deserved. This is what you get. This guy coming out here trying to cash in during your match, this is what you get for not costing him the Money in the Bank match earlier this month. We saw no Punk. We saw no Roman Reigns on that show. Seth just won the briefcase, despite all the bullshit that he has put all of these different people through. You allowed this man to win the briefcase, and so now you paid the price for it. And it feels like we're headed towards another CM Punk Seth Rollins match, and onward we go. This feud, must continue. I mean, Punk's destination for SummerSlam is a little less murky, now than it was coming into this show, but we still can't say for sure that that's going to be the SummerSlam. I presume that will be the SummerSlam match. There is no debate, though, about what John Cena's SummerSlam match is going to be because it ties in directly to the King of the Ring. That was the other thing on this show. We had the finals of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. The winners punched their ticket to a guaranteed championship match at SummerSlam against the champion of their respective brand. We already knew on the SmackDown side that it was going to be a SmackDown roster person on the men's side going to SummerSlam to wrestle for the WWE title because it came down to Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, two members of the SmackDown roster. On the women's side, we had Jade Cargill representing SmackDown. We had Asuka representing Raw. And things really up and down the entire card went exactly the way that I predicted they would when we ran through the predictions the other day. So it was a very predictable show. But it basically went the way that I think most people probably expected. King Cody and Queen Jade. They have their crowns. They will now be going on to SummerSlam to wrestle for the championship. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton went out there and had the best match on the entire show. Jade Cargill and Asuka went out there and had probably the worst. Certainly, it was nothing that I am going to have any interest in going back to rewatch again. Asuka did what she could, but that was easily the weakest part of the entire show. Both United States Championships changed hands in Riyadh this weekend, and that goes back to SmackDown last night. Julia beat Zelina Vega. She is the new Women's United States Champion, but on this show, Solo Sikoa wins his first singles championship on the main roster. He unseats Jacob Fatu to win the U.S. title. But that's not the only story coming out of that match, because we had a massive appearance during that U.S. title match. And a lot of people were probably thinking it coming into this show. We've been waiting quite a while for this person to finally show up on television. Yes, indeed. The great Tonga Loa is back on television. I know you missed him. Tonga Loa made his return during the United States Championship match. Oh my God. And he provides an assist to Jacob Fatu, or to Solo Sikoa against Jacob Fatu. And then this other guy, Hikuleo, I think his name is, he also made his debut during that match. Although was never named. So Hikuleo is clearly dead, and so whatever the new name is going to be, we'll find out soon enough. Remember, a long time ago, we heard about them trademarking Tala Tonga. So I don't know if that's still going to be his name or not, but the fact that his name was never actually mentioned on the show is probably indicative of the fact that he is not going to be Hikuleo. But yes, he finally did make his debut here on this show. And the Bloodline, all of a sudden, the Bloodline was down to two. The remnants of the Bloodline, they were down to two. Solo Sikoa and JC Mateo. And it felt like, okay, maybe this thing is petering out finally, right? Tama Tonga's been hurt. Tonga Loa's been hurt. Hikuleo's been missing for over a year. Maybe they're going to put the bloodline stuff aside for now. All of a sudden, we went from 2 to what are they? Back up to like 4, right? Probably 5 when Tama Tonga comes. We got Solo Sikoa, we got JC Mateo, we got Hikuleo, we got Tonga Loa. All of a sudden, the bloodline has respawned. And so it ain't going nowhere. But Jacob Fatu now is going to have to chase to get that U.S. title back. I thought that it was a decent show. This was a very middle-of-the-road show. Definitely not their best effort as Saudi shows go. There have been some really good Saudi shows, actually, in recent years. They put a lot more focus on these shows than they did at the very beginning of their relationship. This was not one of the better ones, but it was decent. There were some things I liked. There were some things I didn't like. A lot of it was very uninspiring, didn't get me terribly excited. We're going to talk about everything that happened here on the show, including all the madness of the main event, because this is your WWE Night of Champions 2025 review. I am the Solomonster. Thank you for joining me here on a Saturday afternoon, or depending on where you're watching this, it could be early in the morning, it could be late at night, but I'm glad you're with me. Like and subscribe. Super chats are open. We have a brand new one. You can find all the special ones, all the amounts listed in the description down below. I will be reading all of your super chats a little bit later. And let's get those likes up, and maybe we could do some Be the Booker a little bit later on. It's a fun thing we usually do at the end of these streams. So hopefully that will be coming up a little bit later on here in the stream. But they open the show. We'll start there. That's usually what you do, right? You start with the opening of the show. I'm not going to start with the closing of the show. That would be pretty stupid. I'm not even drinking yet. Why would I do that? The opening of the show was the King of the Ring final. We had Cody Rhodes one-on-one with Randy Orton. Orton entered first, and they sang his song, so much so that they even looped it as they continued singing his song. They did the same for Cody Rhodes on his way to the ring. They sang him to the ring. All of these international crowds, man, no matter where they go, doesn't matter what country, doesn't matter what continent they go to, they all think that they're on, America's Got Talent or something. I don't know. Everybody sings. I wouldn't go to these shows to sing. Nobody wants to hear me sing. I don't want to hear them sing either, but they seem to have fun doing it. So Orton comes into this match. He owns, we were told, a 7-3 singles record against Cody. This is the first time that these two have locked up in a match since 2013, I believe. 12 years since we've gotten a Cody Rhodes-Randy Orton match. Our first since Cody came back to the company 3 years ago. And they didn't do much for the first few minutes. They didn't really have to. I mean, the crowd was very loud at the beginning of this. Rhodes went to the top. Rhodes to the top. Rhodes went to the top for probably 5 minutes into this. Orton brought him down, though, with a superplex, and that was really the story of the match, because after Orton brought him down with a superplex, immediately Randy begins selling his lower back. And he did the same thing a year ago. Remember the King of the Ring final last year, where he fell to Gunther? And he was selling the back there as well. So telling that story where he may have twerked. He did not twerk. He may have tweaked. Randy Orton did not twerk during this match, but he may have tweaked the lower back. That automatically became the story right there. Cody took advantage. He had a disaster kick for 2. Orton responded with a backbreaker, which is not a very smart thing to be doing if you have a bad back. So, of course, as soon as he hits the backbreaker, he winces and he grabs the back. So Cody wrenched Orton's back around the ring post. He followed with a missile drop kick. Orton fought back and hit a power slam. The injured back, though, prevented him from making the cover fast enough, and Cody kicked out. Rhodes was delivering forearms to the lower back and actually got some boos for doing that, because Randy was super over here. He hits a Cody cutter, only gets 2. Then he follows with a super Cody cutter, and still only gets 2. Yeah, Lucy in the chat, if Randy did twerk, he probably would throw his back out. I would think that twerking would be probably the worst thing you could do. if you have a bad back. Don't do that. Orton came back with a draping DDT. Cody countered an RKO attempt into a crossroads for a near fall. Rhodes stalled for a little too long, though, and Orton popped up with an RKO out of nowhere for a near fall. Orton went to the corner, he set up for the punt kick, and he begins to second-guess himself. He actually told a similar story on this show with John Cena in the main event and Randy Orton here in the opener, where there was a moment in each of these matches where they had almost a crisis of conscience. They were going to deliver a move, and they stopped themselves, and they thought better of it. In this case, it probably cost Randy Orton the match because he's second-guessing himself. Orton ultimately talks himself into it. Goes for the punt, but he waited too long. Cody dodges it. He applies a figure 4 leg lock until Orton got a rope break, which is kind of an odd thing to do. I mean, when you have a guy here who is selling a bad back, I mean, why wouldn't you go for something like a bear hug? I mean, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I mean, if this guy has a bad back, I know what I'll do. I'll apply a figure 4 leg lock. It's not very smart there by Cody. Rhodes went for another Cody cutter. Orton caught him out of midair as he sprung off the middle rope with an RKO. That was a great spot. And it had the fans convinced that that might be the finish. Of course, it wasn't. And Cody kicked out. So then Orton went outside, and he grabs a steel chair, and he brings it into the ring. Again, another similarity with what we saw in the main event where John Cena left the ring to go grab the title belt to bring into the ring. Here, though, Orton had an ulterior motive, so he brings the chair into the ring, which would be a pretty fucking dumb thing to do, because you get disqualified, you don't win King of the Ring. Charles Robinson takes the chair away from him. When he does, Orton goes to the corner, and he pulls off the top turnbuckle pad, so it was all part of the plan. Rhodes blocked Orton's attempt to use the exposed buckle and shoved Randy into it instead, ribs first, really like right under the armpit. And he goes into it, the upper rib cage, and Orton lets out a scream. Cody follows that with a crossroads, and he covers Randy Orton for the win. 20 minutes into this match. The fans were definitely louder for Randy than they were for... I mean, they cheered Cody, but they were louder for Randy than they were for Cody. They still cheered when Cody won. Orton left the ring. Cody is presented with the crown by both general managers. Byron Saxton makes his way over to interview him. And Cody first said he wanted to thank Randy Orton, who he said mentored him and spoke up for him. He said this would not be Orton's final stop in Saudi Arabia. He asked all the fans to give him a round of applause. And you could see, because Cody had his back turned to the aisleway, and you could see Orton in the aisle. So Orton turns around to, see this. But he did not look very happy. He did not have a very happy expression here on his face. Cody, again, had his back turned, so I thought that Orton was going to slither into the ring and drop him right then and there, but he didn't do that. Cody said that he would face either CM Punk or John Cena at SummerSlam. He knew how the audience felt when he went up against these beloved characters. That's what he said, characters. I don't know what's up with this guy, man. He's on the show here talking about characters. He's doing interviews talking about how, my time as a babyface may be coming to an end. So I'm not liking this. I'm not liking this. I mean, I know the curtain has been pulled back like 95%. Just leave me that little 5%. I don't think we need to, but then again, I mean, that Netflix show is premiering in a month. What is it? WWE, what the hell is it called? I forgot the name of it. That new reality show. I mean, forget at that point, the remaining 5% is basically just gone at that point. But he goes, I know how all you guys feel about me when I go up against these beloved characters like Randy Orton and Jey Uso. But no matter who the champion was, they were only holding it for him because he would get the ball back, he said, at SummerSlam. And they shot off pyro behind him as he held up the crown. Never put the crown on his head. Gunther didn't last year. He held it, but he didn't actually wear the crown because it just looks goofy at this point. This is not the era of the Macho King. That era is long gone. That was the cartoon era of WWE that I grew up on. And so you had the Macho King, and you had, King Harley Race, and Bret Hart wins King of the Ring and puts the crown on his head. And frankly, even that looked a little goofy. It's just a different time now. It would be really stupid. Honestly, if Gunther stood there and put the crown on his head, just the kind of character that he is, it would have been dumb. And it would have been dumb for Cody to do it. Now, if you're a certain type of heel, it might make sense. But Cody is not. So he should not be wearing a crown on his head. I thought this was the perfect first match between these two. I have been waiting for these two to get in the ring together ever since Cody came back to the company. There is so much history, like rich history between these two, going back to when Cody was first coming up in the ranks and he was handpicked by Randy Orton to be part of Legacy. And they even shared the ring together at WrestleMania one year in that triple threat match. I don't know whatever happened to that DiBiase guy. He may be behind bars soon. But there's a lot of history there that has not even been touched. And there were a lot of teases last year in little backstage segments where, they were friendly. They might be sitting in the locker room and Orton would glance over at the championship and you just knew, like, maybe they're not going to lock up soon, but like down the road, they're already, giving you little hints of what's coming. And so now they have their first match in a match that, like a week ago, we didn't even have on the card because Cody didn't even qualify for the finals until Monday. So this all came together very late in the game. And it's like, well, man, you're going to do the first Cody and Randy match and hardly have any time to promote it. I looked at it as, again, this is just match one. Like their feud, and they will feud, their feud has not even really started yet. But what we had here on this show was the beginnings of a longer feud between them that I think will likely kick off coming out of SummerSlam, whether Cody wins or not, coming out of SummerSlam. As far as the match itself, we had the usual overkill. We had the overkill of all of the finisher attempts and kickouts. And I mean, we see this all the time in wrestling. This is not just a WWE issue either, but we see it a lot in WWE. I'm not a big fan of that. We get this all the time. The finish itself was a little flat too. I'm not even saying, the finish was so great. That springboard into an RKO off the ropes, I mean, for a split second had me sold, even though I didn't honestly believe Randy was going to win this match. Had that been the finish of the match, you would have had people all over social media raving about the finish of the, oh my God, what a great finish that was. So the finish was definitely a little flat. But again, the match did what it was supposed to do. And what the match was supposed to do was plant the seeds for what is coming in the future. And also keep in mind, Cody didn't really do anything wrong here. Randy is the one who introduced or tried to introduce the chair into the ring, right? Randy is the one who went and removed the turnbuckle pad and tried to use that shortcut, and it blew up at his face. All Cody did was just take advantage of it. So I think part of the story here also is Cody finally did what he was unwilling to do at WrestleMania because he was a dumb fuck at WrestleMania. He had the chance to take a shortcut to beat John Cena. He didn't do it, and it cost him the championship. And so now he's heading into a rematch with John Cena. And I think they're trying to illustrate that this time it's going to be a different Cody than the one we saw at WrestleMania. This time he will not be unwilling to take advantage of a situation if it presents itself. So that's kind of how I read into what they did here. They didn't give too much away. They didn't have to. We're going to see this again. As far as Randy Orton is concerned for SummerSlam, I don't know what Randy Orton would be doing at SummerSlam. If they're going to kick things off, something with him and Cody, I see that coming out of SummerSlam. Maybe he gets involved in Cody's match. If Randy is going to go heel, maybe he goes heel at SummerSlam and costs Cody the match against Cena. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people going, well, wait a minute. Maybe you're way off here. And maybe John Cena against Cody is going to end with Cody going heel. I know some people are praying for that. I know some people are hoping for that. We are going to get a heel Cody Rhodes. Cody himself is out there now publicly just flat out saying, my time as a babyface is going to be coming to an end sooner than later. I don't know why he's out there saying this, especially if it's true. I don't know why you would even want to give people the hint. Just let it be a surprise. I don't think it's happening at SummerSlam. There's been nothing done, nothing to indicate that it is going to happen at SummerSlam. I think it's a lot of people who are, maybe sick of Cody as, the dominant babyface who kicks out of all these big moves, and they're sick of it and they want to see him go heel. And that's fine. I mean, that's fair. I think it's just people reading a little too much into it because he is still the top babyface in this company. I just don't see them turning him heel yet. So I don't think it's going to be him. If anyone's going heel, I think it's going to be Randy Orton. That's what I think. Welcome to everybody who is with me here on a Saturday afternoon. Glad to have you. Nearly 1,500 strong as we are going through this card here. We are talking Night of Champions. Talked King of the Ring. We got Queen of the Ring we got to talk about later. Not nearly as good as what we got with the King of the Ring tonight. We'll get to that. But first, we got to get to this street fight. What they said was the first ever street fight in Saudi Arabia. Well, first ever wrestling street fight. I'm sure there have been other street fights in Saudi, but not on a WWE show. We haven't. This was the first. Rhea Ripley, one-on-one with Raquel Rodriguez.
I am the Lord.
Shut the fuck up.
This guy.
Fuck that tree.
Cutting that tree down. That's it. Watch out below. The tree is falling. See, I knew we'd see him tonight. I knew it. I knew we would see him tonight at some point. By the way, we noticed it last night during the SmackDown review, the YouTube names. I hope this isn't a permanent change. I don't know if it's a glitch, but there are, when you see the names, you see the @ handle. Like the names themselves are gone. They're not what they used to be. And I don't know why. I have no idea why. Holy shit. Oh my God. Oh boy. Wow. Wow. How did I not see that?
I'm the Lord.
How did I not see that
Shut the fuck up.
when he came in before?
Fuck that
Jeremy Rose, thank you. Oh my God. That was Boots with a $500 super chat. Thankfully, Boots still has his name because it's in his handle. So I knew who it was. It's got some numbers after it, but I knew exactly who it was. Boots. Look at this SOB. Boots, I will be reading your message. He got a long message here. I'm going to be reading your message. I know Boots is not going anywhere, so stick around. I didn't, like, I looked over and saw Cody and his pyro, and I was like, who is... I thought it was ABK for a second. He actually beat out ABK with that. Man, nobody does it like Boots, man. Boots to asses. Holy shit. Well, Rhea and Raquel. Let's recalibrate here. Rhea and Raquel in a street fight. They were both decked out in full body suits because Saudi. Rhea was wearing black latex. Raquel was in, I don't know if it was black latex or black leather. What they were wearing was very similar, to the point where it looked like they should be tag team partners. Ripley got tied up in the ropes early on in this match. So Rodriguez grabbed a kendo stick, and she did not hold back. I feel like if you're in the ring with a good friend, you tend to be a little more violent. Like if I was in a match with my best friend, I would go to him and say, look, I'm probably going to beat the fuck out of you. So if you want to give it back to me, that's fine. But like, let's just go out there and just stiff the shit out of each other. And that's what it felt like she was doing with that kendo stick, because she was wailing away on Rhea's ribcage with this kendo stick. So then she grabbed a chair, and Ripley managed to kick the chair back into Raquel's face. Ripley cleared off the announce table a little while later. She set up for a vertical suplex. Rodriguez escaped. Rhea tried a cannonball off the table instead, and Raquel caught her and then muscled her up into a powerbomb position. And she powerbombed her over the barricade and into the timekeeper's area. I think there might have been there was a table, I think, behind the barricade. She went through the table. So Raquel set the steel ring steps up on its side on the apron. Ripley, though, rammed her into them instead, then took off her belt, and Rhea began to repeatedly whip Raquel with her belt. Ripley followed in the ring with a razor's edge that folded her up, and then a running kick only for a 2 count. Ripley applied a prism lock, which they called a prism trap. So unless they've changed the name, I'm assuming they just fucked up the name because it's the prism lock. But Roxanne Perez runs in, also full bodysuit. She runs in, she attacks Rhea from behind. Ripley fought her off outside the ring and then suplexed her on the floor. Rhea then placed a trash can over Roxanne, who was so tiny that she could probably stuff her entire body into this garbage can. But she puts her in a garbage can and then delivers a sliding kick. Rodriguez used the distraction to drive Rhea into the steel post and then into the ring steps. Rodriguez followed with a twisting elbow drop off the middle rope inside for a 2 count. She then placed a table across the top rope in one of the corners to create a platform. So if you remember, speaking of street fights, when Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon, who actually had their classic King of the Ring street fight, God, it was this month. How many years ago? It was 2001, right? Or was it 2000? I'm pretty sure it was 2001. So we're talking 24 years ago. They did a similar spot, I think, for the finish in their match. I think Kurt gave him an angle slam. So that's what they did here. They ended up climbing on top of the table, which was weebling and wobbling, and the referee was trying to hold it in position. And Rhea delivered an avalanche riptide off the table, and she pinned Raquel to win the match. This was a good street fight. Nothing too violent here. It's what you would expect from a WWE street fight. You got your kendo sticks, you got the ring steps, you got the tables. It's very similar to what we got on SmackDown last night between Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax, but this was better than that. The thing with Raquel, though, she hasn't been booked as a serious threat to anybody on TV. So I don't think there was a single person who really truly believed that she was going to get the win here or that she was a real serious threat, coming into this match. But this was the best match that I've seen her have in forever. These two just work really well together here. The announcers, it was very notable that the announcers pushed that Rhea wants to be going for the world championship again. And she said the same thing on the kickoff show. They were really pushing that point hard. So, on the subject of what do you do with Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam, I'm still hoping we get Asuka and Io. I know Asuka, and we'll talk later, but Asuka didn't win tonight. Big shock. But I would love to see Asuka and Io for the women's world title. And they teased it on Monday. They had a segment, I don't think it aired on the show. I think it was during the commercial break. But they had a little interaction in the back, and they very clearly teased a possible match between them for SummerSlam. I would love to see that be the women's world title match. It is hard for me to imagine that Rhea Ripley is not going to have a major match on that SummerSlam card. It's 2 nights this year. She is the biggest star in the entire division, and she has no real obvious direction right now. Do you work her back into the world title picture again? Do you do maybe a triple threat and have her and Io and Asuka, but then it's basically a carbon copy of what you just did at WrestleMania? You're only substituting Asuka for Bianca, right? As great as that match was at WrestleMania, I don't know. That would just feel like a retread to me. Rhea Ripley against Stephanie Vicaire, who is one of the newer additions to the Raw roster. Fast rising star, right? Very popular. That's a future WrestleMania match, but you could do it, right? They're both baby faces. If you want to just take them and put them in a feud, you could do that. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with Rhea. But the fact that they were really pushing hard the idea of her going after the world title again, that might be an indication of what they plan on doing with her. We had Sami Zayn against Karrion Kross. Came out with Scarlett, who was out there in her bodysuit looking like Catwoman. This was Kross's first PLE match since last year's WrestleMania, when the Final Testament took on Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. And his first singles match on a PLE, how's this for a stat? The last time Karrion Kross before this show had a singles match on a PLE was actually here in Riyadh. It was against Drew McIntyre inside a steel cage. That match took place 3 years ago. That's how long it's been. So, for all the nonsense about Karrion Kross not wanting to take back bumps, I saw that all over social media this week on clips going around showing Kross taking these awkward bumps and, oh, he doesn't take back bumps. He doesn't take bumps properly, right? He took plenty of bumps in this match. Hopefully that'll shut that shit down. As far as like, oh, this is why he's not getting pushed. Like, yeah, that's why. That's why he's not getting, a major push. You fucking break. He took plenty of, but he looked like he was bumping just fine here in this match. So Kross got a good reaction for his entrance. Nothing like what Sami got coming out, obviously, here in Saudi. Cole said that Kross generated a groundswell of support online, and so now he has to prove himself in the ring. And I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, oh boy, Triple H now feeding scripted lines here to Michael Cole. Seeing all the online pressure and all the online support, push Kross, hashtag push Kross. This is his message back to all the fans. Well, he better perform. This is what you wanted. He better live up to expectations. Zayn took control early on here in this match until Kross cut him off with a Doomsday Saito suplex. Later on, Kross hit a leaping Death Valley driver for a near fall. Kross went for the cross jacket submission, but Zayn avoided it. Kross stuffed a Blue Thunder Bomb attempt, put Sami down with another Doomsday Saito. Kross set up for the Cross Hammer, but Zayn ducked it and hit the Blue Thunder Bomb for a 2 count. Zayn hit an exploder suplex in the corner, and then he tried for the haluva kick. Kross, though, cut him off and applied the cross jacket submission, and he pulled Sami down to the mat, and he grapevined him. So the referee goes over, and Sami's he's struggling, and he's fighting in the hold, and he's trying to fight his way out of it. And it looks like he's starting to fade, and the referee checked on Sami's arm, which fell to the mat. And then she picked it up, and it fell to the mat for a second time. And then she picked it up, and it fell to the mat for a third time, but then he immediately put the arm back up, so he was still in it, and eventually he got to the bottom rope to break the hold. I really wish that they would be more consistent with the arm drop. They're very inconsistent with it. In most WWE matches now, which honestly, I mean, look, I grew up, again, watching this product at a time when the hand would have to go down 3 times, and then the referee would call the match off, right? It was very dramatic. Oh, it dropped twice. If it drops one more time, like that's what I grew up on. Realistically, though, especially as they have incorporated more MMA elements into the product over the years, Ken Shamrock, you can thank him for the tap out, right? We've had tap outs in this company ever since '97. It really does make more sense, though. If you're a referee and you think that somebody has just passed out unconscious, right? You check, they're out, you call for the bell. You don't go, okay, let's raise the arm once, let's raise the arm. Like, it makes more sense to do it that way. And that's what they do now for the most part. A few weeks ago when Jey Uso went out against Gunther, that's what they did in that match. The referee looked, he said, oh shit, Jay's out, call for the bell. New World Heavyweight Champion. But here, we got to raise the arm once. We got to raise the arm. It's inconsistent. Just pick a lane and stick to it. It's a minor thing, but it bugs me. So Kross asked Sami what was wrong with him. What's wrong with you? And he told Sami to learn how to stay down. Kross hit Sami with a running clothesline in the corner. And now at this point, he is yelling at Sami. He's telling him, say it. Say Kross told you the truth. Kross backed up to the other corner, hit a second clothesline to Sami in the opposite corner. And when I saw him do that, I could visually see what the finish was going to be. I was like, he's going to run for a third time into the other corner again for another clothesline. And as he's running in, he's not going to realize that Sami is running behind him, and then we're going to get the haluva kick. And that's exactly what they did. And he kicked him in the face, and Sami covered him, and he got the pin. Would it have been nice for Karrion Kross to get the win here? Could he have benefited from beating someone like Sami Zayn? Of course. But it was Saudi, and Sami wasn't losing, and Sami is just at a level in the pecking order there that Karrion Kross is not. Not to mention the fact that Sami was due to come back out to do a run-in in the main event on this show. And Sami is in a way feuding with Seth Rollins and his crew. So I had no expectation of Karrion Kross actually winning this match here. But it was competitive enough. I mean, it wasn't like a squash. It wasn't like Sami beat him in 4 minutes or anything like that. I thought that this was a fine Raw match. There was nothing terribly exciting about it, but it was solid. They told a simple story. Was it a one and done? Or this is the real question coming out of this now. Was it a one and done? Are they going to do more with Karrion Kross? He's getting good reactions, right? Nothing overwhelming. But like when people see him, when they show him in these backstage segments on Raw, it's not like we have crickets. There are people who will come out on these shows and they don't react. That was the issue with Zelina Vega, and she was the United States champion. She would come out and nobody would react. He's getting reactions when people see him. When he came out here, he got a really good reaction. So that tells me that there are people out there who do like the guy. They like something about him. They want to see him do well. They want to see him do more. Like there is that level of support for him, a certain level of support. I would hope that he doesn't just go back to catering to hang out backstage, kind of creeping on people with Ludwig Kaiser. We haven't seen Kaiser at all over the last few months until Monday. And what did he do? He popped up. He was watching. He was in the background in the shadows. He was watching. And that's the biggest thing he's done in like 3 or 4 months. I don't want to see Kross go back to just doing that, right? There is something there. Explore it. Do something with it. See where it goes. See if this is real or not. If the fans are really behind this guy, they will get behind him. And if they're not, then they won't be. And he'll fall flat on his face. But at least try. So I hope they have something in mind for him coming out of this. What that is, just off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't know if this issue with Sami is going to be, continuing. I don't really see a reason for it to after this. But just do something. There's something there. Do something with this guy. Jacob Fatu against Solo Sikoa for the United States Championship. Like I said, we had one U.S. title change this weekend in Riyadh. Would we have another one? Solo entered alone. No JC Mateo. He retreated out to the floor early, so Jacob went out after him, and actually he launched himself off the ring steps with a clothesline, took Solo down. Back in the ring, a couple of running sentons, and Jacob was going to go for the mighty moonsault. Solo, though, rolled outside again. And when Fatu went for a suicide dive, Solo cut him off with a punch. He had a spinning Solo on the ring apron, and then he had a spinning Solo on the floor. So now Solo was on offense instead of playing defense. Jacob briefly, this was kind of funny. Jacob is laying outside the ring, and he, part of his body, he crawled under the ring. Like he stuck his head under the ring. And I'm like, what's he doing that for? And then came back out and the match went on. I'm like, somebody's under that ring, right? And it ain't fucking Hornswoggle. Somebody's under this ring. I pretty much knew who it was. Been telling you for weeks when we were going to see Hikuleo. So that right there should have told you that there was someone underneath the ring. Back inside, Solo caught him with a running hip attack. And then Sikoa took him to the mat with a rear naked choke. We got to rest for a little bit. How exciting. Fatu rallied back to his feet. He fired back until Solo dumped him on what looked like on top of his fucking head with an overhead belly to back suplex. Fatu, though, popped right up, hit a German of his own. And then Fatu hit an impaler DDT, and he headed up top, and he hit a swanton bomb. Kick out by Solo at 2. So Jacob now is headed up to the top rope. Here comes JC Mateo. Comes down to the ring. This distracts the referee. All of a sudden, a man decked out in all black, in like an all black hoodie, hits the ring to intercept Fatu, trip him up on the top rope, and then he drops him with a spinning neck breaker off the ropes. Right? He gets in the ring and then he grabs Fatu, spinning neck breaker. And then he reveals himself And I'm sitting here and I thought, oh my God, it's Tonga Loa. And the crowd seemed to recognize, like once they showed his face, they actually did recognize who it was. And I don't want to say that they reacted big. I mean, they reacted. It's like, oh, it's him. So it's like they knew who it was. But yes, the great Tonga Loa is back. We have not seen him since War Games, we were told. It's been quite some time. There was a Samoan spike after this by Solo Sikoa. Jacob avoided it, hit a super kick. Then he knocked JC Mateo off the apron. And then he fell into Tonga Loa on the floor. And then Jacob Fatu comes off the ropes. And Jacob Fatu hits a fucking Fosbury flop out over the top rope. And he wipes both men out on the floor. Very impressive when we see Will Ospreay doing a Fosbury flop in a match. To see Jacob Fatu doing a Fosbury flop is just fucking insane. I was not expecting that in this match, but there it is. Back in the ring, Fatu hits a pop-up Samoan drop to Sikoa. JC Mateo gets back in the ring. Now, the referee is seeing all of this, being very lenient here as all of this is going on. Mateo eats a super kick. Mateo then eats a running hip attack. Fatu then heads up to the top. And he hits the mighty moonsault. The problem is, there is no referee. Now, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, why is the referee not there? And we were told, oh, the referee is over with JC Mateo. I assume the referee went over to check on JC Mateo because JC Mateo was down and that JC didn't just grab the referee. And I'm thinking, well, this is incredibly stupid because JC Mateo should not be any of his concern. He is not part of this match. He's currently down and there is a championship match in progress. So the referee is busy checking up on somebody who isn't even part of the freaking match, but that means there's no referee to count the fall. And who should reach into the ring to pull Jacob Fatu outside? They never identified him by name, but it was Hikuleo. He has I could tell just by the hair, just by the permed hair. I knew right away exactly who it was. So they never identified him by name. Hikuleo as a name is very likely a thing of the past. Michael Cole did mention, though, that he's the brother of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. Kind of. He was tripping over his words as he tried to read from what very obviously was his script that he was trying to read from. Wade Barrett called him 7 feet tall. 7 feet tall. If he's 7 feet tall, then I'm 8 feet tall. He ain't no 7 feet tall, especially when he is standing right next to Jacob Fatu. And he's just a little bit taller than Jacob Fatu. But of course, you know, it's wrestling, and so that's what they do. You have to exaggerate everything. So he went to go choke slam him onto the announce desk. The desk did not break. We can't even get a table break from a 7 foot tall guy doing a choke slam. He threw Fatu back in the ring where Solo picked him up and delivered a Samoan spike. Bless Jacob. He took this inside out. I call it the Rikishi bump because he always used to take that bump. Like back in the day when he was wrestling as Fatu, before there was a Jacob Fatu, we had Fatu. He would always do this inside out bump, like on a clothesline or something. So that's what he did for the spike. You've never seen someone bump for a Samoan spike like this before. And Solo covered him and pinned Jacob to win the United States Championship. And as I said at the beginning of the stream, the Bloodline has respawned. It is the faction that will never die. Solo Sikoa claims his first championship here on the main roster. And I told you, I told you weeks ago, even before people started talking about Hikuleo, I said, put the championship on Solo Sikoa. That's what I would do. That's what I thought they would do. Debut Hikuleo on this show. Let him be the new heavy for Sikoa. Let him factor into the finish. That way you protect Jacob. It's not like Solo is just, pinning him straight up. Obviously, he's going to need a shitload of support, which is what he had here. He had the support of 3 guys. It took 4 men to beat Jacob Fatu. And so now Hikuleo finally, after being MIA for so long, over a year, is now on the main roster. He's part of the Bloodline. And I mean, think about it. We went from having 2 guys left in this group. It wasn't even a group anymore. And now they have doubled in size. And that doesn't even count Tama Tonga, who also got hurt. I don't even know what the injury is. But he got hurt a few months ago. I think he may have had surgery. I'm not expecting to see him anytime soon. I wasn't expecting to see Tonga Loa either. But there he was there. But this also now gives something at least for Jimmy to do. You know, now Jimmy Uso at least has some kind of direction on this show. I don't want to bury the lead here, though. I know we have a new champion and I know we have a new debut, but the real story here is the return of Tonga Loa. This is going to change the game now on Friday nights. Tonga Loa fan, I have to assume Tonga Loa fan is with us in the chat, although his name may be different because all the names are fucked up, but I hope you're here. You're the first person I thought of. Like, in all seriousness, as soon as I saw Tonga Loa, I thought of you. I was very happy. I was happy for you in the way that I was happy for Bliss fan at the Rumble when we saw Alexa come out. Because I just knew, I could feel the happiness. So, if nothing else, I am very happy for Tonga Loa fan. And I will say this much. If Tonga Loa fan is not here with us and we don't hear from him, we will know who Tonga Loa fan really was over these past several months. It will become very clear very quickly. As far as the match itself, solid match. Nothing all that great here. The referee stuff at the end I thought was very dumb. You know, it would have been better having the referee get bumped, honestly, instead of being made to look like a goofball. You know, just take like a small bump and then try to get their bearings about them so that they can't see what was going on. I mean, sometimes they just make and this goes for both companies. Like, there are ways that you can have the referee taken out of the equation for a set period of time without making all of your referees just look like a bunch of incompetent geeks. And they do it in both companies. And I mean, it's funny. I don't know if it's intended to be funny, but I mean, it's hilarious to me. But they just make them look so inept. And this was yet another one of those examples. And I don't know why you would do that when there are other ways that you could take the referee out of the picture so that they don't see what's going on, and then they recover. And then they come back to count the fall. Solo winning was the right move, though. It was the right. Some people might not want to hear that, but Solo Sikoa winning here was the right move. Now, let me mention this. I feel like, and we had chants tonight during the show, including in the main event when Seth came out. Loud chants of OTC. People thought Roman Reigns was going to come out at the end of this show. And I've been thinking along the same lines of when do we see Roman Reigns back, right? When do we see Roman Reigns back? And when is he going to go after Seth? I thought maybe it would happen at Money in the Bank. Didn't happen. Maybe we're looking at this the wrong way. Because Seth, very clearly the issues with Seth and Punk are continuing. Maybe when Roman Reigns comes back, and I have to imagine that we'll see him in time to be on the SummerSlam card. Although last year, I guess he came back at SummerSlam, but I presume he'll have a match, 2 nights of SummerSlam, right? You got to have a Roman Reigns match. Are we looking at this wrong? And is Roman Reigns going to come back to be part of this story? I kind of hope not, because it doesn't get me excited. I feel like we've already been down this road before with him and the Bloodline. And I was kind of looking forward to getting him away from all that, even though he was really the most important part of the Bloodline stuff. He was the Bloodline for so many years. But you see what's going on here, where Solo now is gaining new members of his army. We have Solo Sikoa, Tonga Loa, Hikuleo, JC Mateo. Tama Tonga may be back in a few months. 4 or 5 guys. On the other side, Jacob Fatu, Jimmy Uso. They're outnumbered. They're going to need help. Is that where Roman Reigns comes into play? Are we gearing up for a War Games match in November? Solo's army against the other Bloodline with Roman, Jacob, and the Usos. Is that what we're looking at here? Again, I can't say that gets me overly excited, but maybe when Roman comes back, it's not a Seth thing. Maybe it's still a Bloodline thing. And some of us are just looking at this the wrong way. Let me know what you think. I don't know if that's something that people are actually excited about. Yes, Darth Panic, I did see that. He's got that role. He got the role of Akuma in the Street Fighter movie. I don't know when that movie begins filming. So, you know what? I don't know when the movie begins filming. I suppose if it starts soon, maybe he would miss SummerSlam. I don't know. All of this is contingent upon his movie schedule, I guess. I guess that's the wild card here. It just feels to me like maybe that's what we're looking at here, because I'm looking at Jey Uso and wondering the same thing. Like, Jay's out of the world title picture now, as far as I'm concerned. It's time to move on and move on to whatever else is next. I certainly don't want to go back to Jey Uso and Gunther again. So then what do you do with Jay? What's next for him? And that's what made me think, oh, maybe they're going to get the band back together, but with Jacob this time. After this, we had the Queen. Oh, we had the learning tree first. Oh, boy.
Shut the fuck up.
We have the learning tree first.
Fuck that tree.
Thank you, Jeremy Rose. So Carol says filming starts in August. Well, SummerSlam's at the beginning of August, so if filming doesn't start until later in August, he could be at SummerSlam, I suppose. But if they're kicking off filming in August, then yeah, he's going to be gone for a while. He's never around, though. So, like, you could actually bring Roman back in time for SummerSlam, let him do whatever he's going to do. He probably would disappear after that anyway. If he only needs like a couple of months to go film, it might not make a difference. It's not like he's there every week. We haven't seen him since WrestleMania. He might film an entire fucking movie and we wouldn't even know because he's never around. So it might not even matter. It might be fine. We had the Queen of the Ring finals between Jade Cargill and Asuka. Or as Wade Barrett calls her, Asuka. Asuka. Sounds like something Chris Jericho would ask the referee to do if he was ever in an intergender match. Asuka. Asuka. Jade was booed. Asuka was the clear fan favorite here, and Asuka carried most of this match. Don't be surprised. You heard it here first. Don't be surprised if you read reports tomorrow that Asuka has a bad back because of how much weight she had to carry here in this match. Asuka kept targeting the leg. Jade kept fighting her off. Jade hit a fall-away slam and a choke slam for 2. Asuka responded with a code breaker and a missile drop kick for 2 of her own. Jade ducked a kick and hit a sit-out powerbomb. Then she fought out of an arm bar. She hit a big boot. Asuka avoided a Jaded attempt, went for an Asuka lock. Cargill, though, rolled out of it. Asuka went for a running hip attack, which is her new finishing move, right? They call it the Empress Impact. Is that the new move for it, I believe? Empress Impact. Well, she went for the Empress Impact, and it didn't work. Because as she came off the ropes and tried to shoot her ass into Jade's face, Jade caught her and hit Jaded to win the crown. And Jade botched the pin as well. And you know how when she hits Jaded, she sits on her opponent, hooks the leg backwards, right? That's usually how she pins her opponent. She sat back so far that she actually fell over, and it looked like Asuka's shoulder. In doing so, she may have pulled Asuka's shoulder up off the mat. It was hard to tell because we didn't get a camera angle from that side where we could actually see Asuka's shoulder, so I can't say for sure that that's what happened here, but that's what it looked like. So, yeah, even the actual finish of the match kind of got botched up a little bit there. I mean, it's one thing to botch a move or be unsure of yourself, but to screw up the pin is not great. So she was presented with the crown in the ring after. She was interviewed by Byron Saxton. She told people who felt down, you got to fight through it, fight through the boos, show people who you are. She said a storm is coming at SummerSlam. This was a very flat match with a very flat ending. It was a very awkward ending. What was bad about it is it felt like people weren't expecting that to be the finish. Now, she hit her finish, so I don't know why people wouldn't have expected it, but there was like no reaction. It was just that awkward reaction. Like you've seen matches where the pin feels like it comes out of nowhere and people like don't know how to react to it. That's what this felt like. Even though she had just hit her finishing move, people, they didn't want that, clearly. They didn't want that to be the finish. So just everything about this just did not click. Asuka did what she could. Jade, she had a few spots here and there, but the thing with Jade, and I noticed it here, And sometimes she hides it well. It's not like every match Jade Cargill has is a terrible match. But when it comes to singles matches, she's still a novice at this, right? I mean, she's been doing it for a little bit now, but it's not like she has all of this experience where I'm expecting her to go out there and be, you know, the top technical talent in the division or anything like that. But I noticed it here where she looks very tentative, like she's thinking too hard about what she has to do next. Just the vibe I get, you know, by watching her. Very, very telegraphed in that way. And okay, what do I have to do now? Or what position do I have to be in? And it just makes some of these matches very awkward. So, I mean, Asuka has looked good since she came back. That's good. She was out for 13 months, right? She was out hurt. And so far, we've seen Asuka now in 3 matches since she's come back. And she's looked good, you know, in all of those matches. So that's good. Naomi, though. Naomi did not. I thought Naomi was going to cash in last night on SmackDown. I really did. I thought she was going to cash in at the end of that last woman standing match. She tried to. She teased it. Didn't happen. Jade now is going to SummerSlam to challenge for the WWE Women's Championship, which is currently held by Tiffany Stratton. And I presume nothing will change between now and then. It will probably be Tiffany against Jade. If Naomi is going to cash in or try to cash in, cashing in during Jade's match or cashing in on Jade after Jade wins the title, if she wins the title, that seems like the most likely destination here. There is a question, though, of would they put the title on Naomi before SummerSlam and do the match at SummerSlam, Naomi defending against Jade? Jade has to beat Naomi to win the championship, which she already did at WrestleMania. She beat Naomi. The idea that I floated a couple weeks ago was, why not have Naomi cash in before SummerSlam, right? Like last night. Win the championship. Jade wins Queen of the Ring. We get Naomi against Jade. And in that match, Bianca Belair returns and Bianca Belair goes heel. That to me would be kind of interesting. I would just love to see a Bianca Belair heel turn. I don't know if they're actually going to do it or not. But she's been a babyface for so long. I think she would kill it as a heel. And then you can reunite, you know, her and Naomi. And I don't know if they would reveal that she was in on it all along with the attack. I don't think you need to do that. But that still is an idea that intrigues me. And you could still do it, but Naomi would have to cash in sometime before SummerSlam. Evolution. We have an all-women's pay-per-view coming up on July 13th. I don't know what Tiffany Stratton is going to be doing on that show. We may get a Money in the Bank cash-in at Evolution. So don't count out the possibility that Naomi may not be the one defending against Jade at SummerSlam. If she is, I think that increases the chances of a Bianca heel turn exponentially. I do. I don't think Jade Cargill is walking out of SummerSlam as the champion. She may win the title at SummerSlam, but she ain't leaving MetLife Stadium with that belt, whether she beats Tiffany or not. Shout out to all 1,600 plus hanging out with me here on a Saturday. Good to have you. We're talking Night of Champions here. Got one big match here left to talk about. Before we get into the main event, though, this is the match right here that this entire show was built around. Before we get into all that, I got a quick message to share with you guys. Tonight's show is sponsored by MyBookie. If you are new to online casino games and you have never played before, MyBookie is actually one of the easiest places to start. When I first played there many years ago, it was super easy, and it still is today. There's no app that you have to download. All you need to do is log in, make a quick deposit, and boom, you're in, just like that. They've got everything you could want there. They've got blackjack, they've got roulette. When I feel the itch to play, I'm a video poker guy. And it goes back to many years ago when I got lucky on a video poker machine in Atlantic City. That was my go-to. But I can't be in Atlantic City every day, nor would I want to be. It's a lot more convenient to do it this way. But it's all there, live dealers, slots, and here's the kicker. They run $50,000 monthly cash drop promotions with each day a chance to win up to $12,500. So even if you bet small, you can still win big just by playing. Point is, you don't need to be a high roller or an expert at this. Just dive in, have fun, spin the wheel, play a hand, whatever it may be, and see what happens. So here's what you do. If you're thinking about playing, hit up mybookie.ag and make sure you use my promo code. There it is, down there below, Solomonster. That's the code. They'll throw a nice deposit match your way, up to $750, so you've got plenty of ammo to go hunting for those bonus rounds. The casino is live, 24/7, no downloads, no BS, just fun at your fingertips, anytime you want it. Let's hit the slots together, only at MyBookie. The main event. Let's talk about this main event. It was for the WWE Undisputed Championship. I don't know what's so undisputed about it because, again, we have 2 world titles. I still think it's kind of funny. They call it the Undisputed WWE Championship. But whatever, that's what they call it. And that's what was on the line here. And very likely here, the last time that we are ever going to see these 2 men in the ring together one-on-one, it was John Cena defending his title against CM Punk. First time that they have worked a singles match together in 12 years. So the same thing as Cody and Randy. That was the last time before this show that Cody and Randy had worked a match together. We got basic Punkonomics on SmackDown last night. I talked extensively about this segment during the SmackDown review and what I thought about it and the secondhand embarrassment that I had watching him come out there dressed up, and maybe that was the intent. I don't know. It was entertaining, but it was entertaining in a so bad it's good way. That was my take on the entire segment. Of course, I think that this guy here looks a lot better. Look at this. This is basic Solonomics that you see. See a little Mets logo there? I like this guy a lot better. And he is drug-free. We got a thunderous reaction for CM Punk's entrance when he came out to the ring. He got into the ring. He sat cross-legged in the center of the ring like he did at Money in the Bank in 2011. And the building was very loud. And then they hit John Cena's music. And they exploded again. They sang John Cena Sucks on his way to the ring. We got the big match intros from Mark Nash. He introduced Punk. Then he introduced the champion. The bell rang. The Fireflies were out with their phones. They were making noise. They were flashing their phones around. It did have a big fight feel to it. We talk about like a big main event, big fight feel. It did have that at the beginning here. Punk lifted him up for a GTS. Cena slipped out, rolled to the floor. A little too close for comfort for him. He got back in the ring. Punk went for something. I have no idea what he was trying to do. I thought maybe it was like an octopus that he was going for. Cena ended up with Punk on his shoulders for an attitude adjustment. He kind of maneuvered him onto his shoulders for it awkwardly. Punk slipped out, clotheslined him down. Punk tried for the move again. And at this point, Wade Barrett said that it looked like he was taking a page out of AJ Lee's playbook. And I said, I see. He certainly wasn't applying the hold as well as AJ Lee used to do it. But I guess that is what he was going for. At least he tried. I thought of the Bart Simpson cake meme. At least you tried. He tried. He didn't do a very good job with it, but he tried. Cena hit the shoulder tackles. Punk got up and took a swing. Cena ducked it, scooped him up, slammed him down. 5-knuckle shuffle connects. Here comes the attitude adjustment. Punk slips out, and he connects with a heel kick. Then a neck breaker by CM Punk, followed by the running knee in the corner. And then he heads up top for the not-so-Randy Savage elbow. He gives the GTS signal. He hoists Cena up for it. Cena, though, grabs his leg on the way down. Punk's, that is. And he locks in the STF. Punk got out of it. Cena got him up, though. Hits an attitude adjustment, only for a 2 count. So we got another attitude adjustment attempt a short time later, but Punk foiled it, drops him with a DDT. And then Punk locks on an STF. And Cena grabs the bottom rope for the break. Cena stuffed a running bulldog attempt and then planted Punk right on the Riyadh season logo in the center of the ring. Just felt kind of appropriate here. We got another attitude adjustment. and another kick out by CM Punk. Cena places Punk on the top rope at this point. He climbs up with him, and he's going to try for a super AA from the middle rope. Punk fights him off, though. Punk then flies off the top with a crossbody, and John Cena rolls through with him, just like in their Money in the Bank match. Like, I remember all of the key spots. I love that match. The 2011 Money in the Bank match is one of the best matches in WWE history. Just the atmosphere for just everything about that match clicked. Everything about that match was just magic. And so when they were doing certain things, whether it was him sitting in the ring, cross-legged, looking at the aisle, waiting for Cena's music to hit, right? That was, I'm sure, a callback to 2011, just the way they shot that. Even this move here, where he came off the top for the crossbody, Cena rolled through, just like they did in that match. But Cena muscles him up onto his shoulders for another attitude adjustment, and this was the third one of the match. Another pinfall attempt, Punk kicks out. So now Cena locks his sights on the WWE Championship outside because he's done 3 attitude adjustments. He has thrown everything that he can here at this man. Nothing is working. And so he looks out to the title, which is sitting on the podium outside. So he goes outside and he retrieves the title. He brings it into the ring with him, and he's going to blast Punk with it. And we've seen him do this in multiple matches here since he won at WrestleMania. Now he's standing there, and the referee, of course, is warning him that you'll be disqualified, and he doesn't give a fuck because he'll still be the champion. So he's warning him, don't do it. You'll be DQ'd. And the fans also don't want him to do it either. And Cena has a look on his face like he is contemplating things. And John Cena chooses to throw the championship out of the ring. He thinks better of it. He doesn't do it. He throws the title away. So he picks Punk up for an AA. Punk slips out and delivers a GTS. And he covers him. He gets 1. He gets 2. Cena kicks out. So Cena having a crisis of conscience here. Seeing another seed planted. And there was something that he did at Backlash, as I recall, as well, that was kind of, I think it was after the match was over with Orton, where he had a look on his face like maybe he was sort of contemplating what he had done. These are little hints. These are little Easter eggs that are being dropped for what is eventually going to be coming for that inevitable babyface turn. So we got the yay boo spot. They traded shots back and forth. Shoulder tackle by Cena. He goes for a second shoulder tackle. Punk avoids it, and instead Cena accidentally collides with referee Dan Engler. Shoulder tackles him. Engler ends up on the floor outside the ring. So Punk delivers a GTS. He has Cena covered. He's got the visual pin. There's no referee to count. So Punk gets up, and he goes over to the ropes, and he looks outside, and he sees Dan Engler out there, all laid out unconscious. So he waves for another referee to come on down, but he doesn't get another referee. Instead, he gets Seth Rollins' music. And out walks Mr. Money in the Bank with Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed. And they take their sweet time. It's not like he's got a referee with him. He's running down to the ring. There's no referee with them. And they take their time walking down to the ring. Rollins slowly takes his glasses off, takes his jacket off. Heyman hands him the briefcase. Punk is in the ring watching all this, and he's squaring up for a fight. Rollins summons Breaker and Reed into the ring, and Punk clotheslines Braun Breaker out to the floor. He sidesteps a charging Bronson Reed, who goes flying through the ropes to the floor. Punk does a slingshot dive out of the ring. He was trying to dive out onto both of them. He overshot the dive. He overshot the dive, almost killed himself, but he was okay. And then the two of them grab Punk, and the idea was, okay, he's gonna jump up, we're gonna pick him up for a choke slam, put him through the table. They didn't get their timing right when they were trying to get him up. Punk, I think, went to go jump too soon, so they basically had to kind of muscle him up a little bit. He barely even went up, and they choke slammed him through the table anyway. In the ring, Rollins summons a referee. Here comes Charles Robinson. And as I'm watching him run down to the ring, he's sprinting down to the ring. I am reminded of him sprinting down that long aisle at WrestleMania 24 during the main event between Edge and The Undertaker. And that was in 2008. That was almost 20 years ago. And this man is still out there, man. He's still out there doing the thing, still charging down, sprinting down to the ring, man. God bless Lil Nate. Everything I ever hear about that guy, one of the nicest guys in all of wrestling. You would never know he's as old as he is. You know, he's getting up there. But here he is again in this main event, in this title match, at a critical moment, sprinting down to the ring. He doesn't even make it inside. When he gets down to ringside, John Cena, he sideswipes him and knocks him to the ground. Cena gets in, and the fans popped when they realized that Cena has just foiled this cash-in attempt. Cena gets into the ring and he confronts Rollins. Rollins tries to hit him with the briefcase. Cena ducks it, delivers an attitude adjustment. So now here comes Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. They get into the ring. They attack John Cena. Then we hear that this is where things got a little weird, because we hear Penta's music. The last thing I was expecting to hear, other than Joe Hendry's music here in Saudi Arabia, I hear Penta's music. I'm like, fucking Penta. And so out comes Penta. He doesn't run down to the ring or anything. They show Braun Breaker in the ring, and Braun's like, yeah, fuck this. He gets out of the ring, and he goes to catch up with Penta on the ramp. He goes after him. Penta delivers some kicks. Breaker, though, ends up picking him up, and he dumps him down on the ramp. Now we hear Sami Zayn's music. Sami runs out to Penta's aid. He fights off Breaker, and they end up off the ramp. And now they're on the floor, but on the side of the stage. They haven't gone backstage, but they've worked their way to the side of the stage on the floor. And then we have a camera there. We look up and we see Penta, and you can see he's waiting for his moment, right? And he gets their attention, and Penta does a big dive off the ramp, off the stage, onto both men. So all three of them are down. Back in the ring, Bronson Reed is going up for a tsunami to John Cena. Punk, though, got back up on the apron. He shoved Reed off the top rope. Cena gets Bronson Reed up for an attitude adjustment. And so he may be a lot older than he used to be when he was picking guys like this up, right? Think of those WrestleMania matches with, Big Show. And think of all the guys he's picked up on his shoulders over the years. And he could still do it. Bronson Reed, I will say Bronson Reed, though, he slimmed down. When he came back from the injury, he's definitely a little bit smaller. He looks, as far as the shape that he's in, right? He's in great shape, but he's definitely a little slimmer than he used to be, but still a very big man. And Cena picks him up on his shoulders, and he delivers an attitude adjustment. Reed rolls out to the floor. And so now we're back to Cena and Punk. We're back to one-on-one between these two. And they're staring each other down, and the crowd is loud and starting an ole ole chant. Punk extends his hand for a handshake. Cena accepts it, and the two of them embrace. And then the camera zooms in on John Cena's face, and it's a very similar look on his face to the one that he flashed when he hugged Cody at the Elimination Chamber. And the what does Punk call him? The bald fraud. Gave the cutthroat sign, and we all know what came next. So sure enough, he tried the same thing here to CM Punk, went for a dick kick. Punk was ready for it, blocked it. Here comes the go to sleep. Cena slips out. Rollins is back in. He's got the briefcase. He blasts CM Punk in the head with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Then he delivers a stomp to CM Punk. Then Cena grabs Rollins and throws him out of the ring and covers CM Punk. Magically, referee Dan Engler is back at exactly the right moment. How fortunate for John Cena, and Dan Engler counts the 1, 2, 3. And John Cena pins CM Punk just as he did the last time they were in the ring together in 2013. That was when John Cena earned the right to meet The Rock again at WrestleMania and won the WWE Championship back. John Cena retains the title here in a very, very overbooked win in this main event. Let me tell you what I was glad that we did not get here. I was very happy that there was no Travis Scott. I still feel like he's gonna pop up, or they're gonna do, we've heard about like a celebrity tag match. I'm still like fearing for my life here that we're not done with this Travis Scott thing. I'm pretty sure I have PTSD, post-traumatic Scott syndrome. I just feel like at any moment I'm going to hear Fiend and he's going to come out. So thankfully, we didn't get Travis Scott here. We also didn't get a dick kick. No kick to the dick to end this match. We've seen that a few times with John Cena as well. That would have been super lame. So that's good. But they felt the need to overbook this because they wanted to protect CM Punk. They wanted to protect CM Punk, and CM Punk still has a blood feud, still has a story going with Seth Rollins. So how can we protect Punk in a way where he doesn't have to take a direct loss, but it'll throw some more gasoline on the fire between him and Seth Rollins? Well, we'll have Seth try to cash in, and it goes sideways, and in the end, it ends up screwing CM Punk out of the championship. That's what they did here. So they overbooked it? Yes, they did. There are times where, you will have a match that is overbooked and it makes sense. I mentioned WrestleMania last year, right? The Avengers Endgame of WWE. I knew going into that WrestleMania, this is going to be an overbooked fucking main event, right? But it was fun as all hell. I knew it going in. It was exactly what I expected it to be, and it was a lot of fun. The main event in a few weeks at All In, if it goes the way that I think it's going to go, will probably also be an overbooked main event. And I don't know who's going to come out on the winning end there. I mean, I know who I want to come out on the winning end. That will be overbooked too, but if it's done the right way, that could be a lot of fun as well. So there is overbooking that makes sense. One thing about what they did here, you can't say it didn't make sense, right? Seth Rollins wanted to cash in his Money in the Bank, right? You can cash in on whatever championship you want. It could be the world title. It could be the WWE title. He was electing to go after the WWE title, and at the same time, do it in a way that screwed his most hated rival out of winning the championships, like killing two birds with one stone, right? That makes sense. Penta coming out, weird. But Penta has had his issues recently with Seth's group. Sami Zayn has had his issues with Seth Rollins and his crew. And they realize that Punk is about to get screwed here, so they take it upon themselves to come out to try to do something about it, to try to at least make it a level playing field. You can't say that it doesn't make sense. You could say that you think it's stupid and you would rather not see them do it, but at least it made sense, like the people who came out and why they were coming out, right? We had this on Raw a few weeks ago. We had this on Raw a few weeks ago when we had Penta and we had LA Knight, right? He came out. I forgot what the match was. Wasn't Jey Uso and Gunther? Man, I can't remember what the match was, but it made sense. So I get why they did what they did. I get them wanting to protect Punk and not wanting, John Cena to just kick him in the dick and pin him in the middle of the ring like that. Like, I understand all that. But now I'm like, man, I would be lying if I told you I wasn't at least a little bit disappointed that in what is going to likely be it for John Cena and CM Punk, we had this whole overbooked mess here, at the end of this match. But I thought what we got from Punk and Cena was good. Outside of everything else that I just talked about, I thought it was good. It was not at the level of their past matches. They're both a lot older. They're not the same performer they were in 2011 or 2013. I get that. John Cena is very limited in what he can do. What we got here was attitude adjustment, go to sleep. 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 There is a point in some of these matches where you just kind of hit that moment. It's like, enough already. And we did hit that moment at one point during this match for me. It was just like an over-reliance on that sort of thing, to try to cover for the fact that, they're limited, I guess, in what they can do. So that aspect of it was not great. But I thought the actual match between them was good. It was good. It was not, the magic necessarily that they had once upon a time, but there is still a chemistry there between the two of them that isn't going to be there with John Cena and a lot of other people. I'll tell you two people who didn't seem to have it at WrestleMania this year, Cody Rhodes and John Cena. And now that we know that we're getting Cody and Cena again at SummerSlam, I can only hope that they go in there and have a match that blows what they did in April out of the water, because I don't think I saw nobody whose opinion I take seriously anyway, but even the people I heard from here when we did the review that night, like, nobody liked that match, right? It was not a good match. It was not a fun match. It was not really entertaining. It was a dud. And so we've had so many matches since that Night 2 WrestleMania main event this year. You could look at Backlash. You could look at what we had here. You could look at this match. You could look at Cody and Jey Uso on Raw Monday night. You could look at Gunther and Jey Uso 2 weeks ago. There were so many matches that you would look at and go, man, this was better than the Night 2 WrestleMania main event. Well, guess what? We're running it back again in August. And I certainly hope this time they have something better planned. Whatever the outcome of the match is going to be, whether there's a cash-in or not, I hope those two go in there and don't stink out the joint. I can't say those two have chemistry in the way that Punk and Cena did. I hope they can find it, because now we know what the main event is going to be at SummerSlam. It will be John Cena defending against Cody Rhodes. We are getting that WrestleMania rematch. I think we all knew it was coming. Some people thought maybe it would come at the end of the year. They would have Cena run all the way to December as the champion. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I still feel like you need time to get that title off of him and tell the story of him reverting back to being a babyface. Not simply losing the championship in Boston in December and then going, okay, handshake, see you guys. There's more story to be told. They've really done a very poor job so far with Cena with this heel turn. It's very clear they had no plan for this whole thing that they've done with him. And it all goes back to the bullshit at Elimination Chamber with The Rock. I don't know what the original plan was going to be for John Cena before they came up with this whole idea. I don't know if the idea was we're going to have him win as a babyface at WrestleMania. I don't know if the idea was, well, we'll have him win the championship and win number 17 as a babyface, but it'll be at SummerSlam. We'll have him fail at WrestleMania. That was the idea that I pitched. Have him fail at WrestleMania. Doubt himself. Maybe I don't have it anymore, right? And he has to earn his way back into title contention. You could have done Cena and Gunther. You could have done Cena and anybody. But he wins number 17 later in the year. I don't know what Triple H and the creative team were going to do before they came up with this wonderful idea to turn John Cena heel in the way that they did, with no real follow-up plan. But it has been largely a bust. You can find select segments here and there, especially in the last few weeks. I know people enjoyed like the Pipe Bomb 2.0 a couple weeks ago. You can find like moments, but I'm sorry, this heel turn, everything they've done with him basically has been a fucking bust up to this point. You need time to tell the story the right way. John Cena is not going to go out as a fucking heel when he spent the majority of his career as a babyface, because that would be stupid. You need time for him to lose the championship, find himself, get back in the good graces of the fans, and go out the right way. SummerSlam feels like the right time for him to drop that title, because if not at SummerSlam, what are we looking at? We're looking at the end of the year, right? He's not going to retain at SummerSlam and then lose it in Paris at the end of August, I don't think. So if he doesn't lose it to Cody at SummerSlam, I feel like we're going until the end of the year. We're going to Survivor Series, or we're going to December, and he's going to drop it there. I think that would be a mistake. Then you shift over to Punk and Rollins. What is Punk going to do going into SummerSlam? Because I knew he wasn't going to win the championship here. You could build to Punk and Gunther for the world title if you really wanted to, but they've done absolutely nothing in that direction, right? It's all about Gunther and Goldberg for the next few weeks. It looks like we're heading for another Punk and Rollins match. And maybe the play here is that they wrestle on one night. Punk gets, his win over Seth and his revenge, and Punk gets his revenge by cashing in his Money in the Bank the next night, because he got 2 nights of SummerSlam this year. I don't know, but I will say this. It feels to me like these two guys have been feuding from the moment Punk came back to the company 2 years ago. I mean, it's just been Rollins and Punk and Rollins. And how much longer do you want to stretch this out for? If you have CM Punk go to SummerSlam and beat Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins ends up cashing in his Money in the Bank and becoming champion anyway, does Punk then chase Rollins to win the title? Are we really going to run this into 2026? I mean, I feel like people are ready to move on from this, and they're ready for Punk to do something else. But here we are. We're right back to him and Rollins again. So I don't know. I don't know what the play is here. You got Saturday night's main event coming up. You could do Rollins and Punk on that show. But if he doesn't wrestle Rollins at SummerSlam, I don't know what he does. He certainly has good reason to want to get his head on a platter after what happened here on this show. That feels to me like the SummerSlam match. But at least the pieces are starting to fall into place. We now know what our main event is going to be at MetLife. It's going to be Cena. It's going to be Cody. Whether or not we get a cash in on that show or sometime before, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Some people think Seth's going to cash in during Goldberg and Gunther, for the World Heavyweight Championship. I certainly hope that doesn't mean that people think Goldberg is going to win the world title. I don't want to be hearing about that. You can shut right up with that. Let's take a look at the Twitter poll. What did you think of Night of Champions here from Riyadh? 73% thumbs up for this show. 27% thumbs down. And that is with almost 1,600 votes in and counting. So go ahead, thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know what you thought of the show. As we get into your super chats here. We did hit the likes goal. We didn't hit the bonus goal, but we hit the likes goal. So we'll be doing the one round of Be the Booker here in a little bit. Some Be the Booker on a Saturday evening is never a bad thing. I thank you guys for spending time with me. Of course, we have the podcast tomorrow as well, episode 918 of The Sound Off. There's Penta popping up on screen. Says 73%. I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm not. I don't believe this to be a 73% thumbs up show. But they certainly are entitled to their opinion if that's how they felt about the show. This was a very middle of the road show. I've seen worse, but I've also seen a lot better. Let's put it that way. Luis. Wow, Luis is actually first in queue for the first time here with these super chats. $5. Night of Champions, more like lunchtime of champions. The lunchtime at the bank joke I made 2 years ago has gotten old very fast. Well, I'm going to admit to you that I don't remember the joke. I believe you that you told it, but I don't remember it. Dry Chicken says it's a super hot. Thank you, Dry Chicken. I got a chance to watch SmackDown on USA last night. I'm glad the extra cameras were able to capture the Cody and Randy segment. Also, I'm glad CM Punk became Gangsta Phil, One Bill Phil, and White Chocolate Phil. He's invited to the cookout on July 4th. No, he became Dr. Phil. Such a layup. How can you miss that one? Thank you, Dread Chicken. Aaron, thoughts on Cena Cody double turn at SummerSlam? I don't see it.
I am the legend.
Shut the fuck up.
What happened?
God. Fuck that tree.
Man, that tree was really struggling there. I don't see it. I don't see it. I think there's a way to do it where it could be very interesting. It would certainly shake things up a little bit. I don't hate the idea. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that they're ready to turn Cody yet. No matter how hard The Rock wants to see it, I don't think they're ready to do it just yet. Dried Chicken, I wonder if Randy Orton will be receiving special gifts after losing twice in King of the Ring. Mailed from Hawaii to Missouri, if you smell what's cooking. I think he's busy doing other things, and probably we will not be seeing or hearing from The Rock for some time. Scumdog, 420. Hey Solo, today I learned that my dad passed away overnight. I just want to remind everybody to hug your loved ones and don't take them for granted. You never know when things may change. Rest in peace, Dad. I'm going to miss you. My condolences, Scumdog. I'm very sorry to hear that. That's terrible news. So we're all thinking about you. Appreciate you being on these streams. You're always welcome here. You know that. but I'm very sorry. Dry chicken. $10 super chat. This is not a prediction, and this is not a spoiler. This is Fighting Temptations. AEW could be tempted to book Swerve, costing Hangman Page the World Heavyweight title. They could be tempted to do that. I will be very upset if they do. I hope not. I would rather see them find their way to each other as a tag team for a match. Not as a permanent team, but, you know, finally put their differences aside as opposed to just reigniting their feud and just screwing him out of the championship. I just feel like that would be very lame. I mean, Swerve has been Mr. AEW for months now. Why would he do that? I mean, I know that he and Hangman, they have no love for each other, but it just feels like the story that they've been trying to tell here is the end goal here is them finally putting their differences aside. In fact, if Hangman wins the championship at All In, and we do get interference from all these different people, I think that a great closing kind of parting scene to it all would be Hangman and Swerve shaking hands. A show of respect. They actually shake hands. And Swerve, you know, basically congratulates him. That's kind of his endorsement, you know, for saving AEW and rescuing the World Championship. I think for their big Texas Stadium show, that would be a very cool, very appropriate way to close things out. To have him screw over Hangman, I think would be super lame. Oh, we had Carlos. Cena's shoulder tackle should be his finisher for how long it puts the referee down. Yeah, that man. Dan Engler was down for like 15 minutes, it felt like. Fried Chicken says CM Punk is going to strike down with great vengeance and furious anger on Seth Rollins. Phil is going to have a lot of bad ideas for Seth Rollins. Well, maybe so. I'm sure none as bad as the idea that he had to come out dressed up the way he was dressed up on SmackDown last night, I hope. Hopefully not quite that bad. Hi, Chief. I think SummerSlam is Roman Punk against Seth and Braun in a tag team match. Could be. Could be. You could do a tag match with Rollins on one night, have him cash in the next. Absolutely. JDF VA gifted a membership to Dawn. Thank you, JDF. Evan. Great to be able to listen live for a change, based in Scotland. Main event was no classic, but still captured some of the magic of their past encounters. It did. It had its moments. It definitely had some moments in there, and I thought there were some very clear callbacks, especially to their Money in the Bank match. Tucky Neutron. Tama helps Jacob, and we get yeah what I mean promo. Twisted Wrister, the Bloodline, then, now, and forever. Indeed. Dried Chicken, Superman Cody, or Cody Homelander at SummerSlam. I think it's Superman Cody that we're gonna get. That's what I think. We got Fuck Pro. I thought it said Fuck Pro Wrestling. I thought that said. Hope you're ready for the all Tonga Loa Superfan Super Chat, Solo. You're going to be a millionaire. Well, not quite. I'm still wondering if Tonga Loa Fan is even with us tonight. All the names are all screwed up. Thanks, YouTube. So I'm not even sure. Jeremy Rose with the $12 learning tree. Props to Solo winning the title. He deserves it. He's been a more enjoyable character recently. Says, do you think Rikishi is good with this, or is he still bitter about his favorite son losing the WWE title? Yeah, you know, I expect Rikishi to be filled with praise on his next podcast because his son won the United States Championship. I hope he gives him some love on his show in the way that he usually vents about Jay. Power Spying Games UK friendly Solomonster stream. There are more people who tend to be able to hang out when we have these earlier shows. Juster Benz. Did CM Punk wear his pro-life shirt on the show? Did he hold up a Protect Trans Kids sign? I don't watch these Saudi shows. Just curious. No, he did not. He did apologize though. He said that he was very cranky. He woke up very cranky when he tweeted what he did many years ago to The Miz. So he's genuinely sorry. And he loves everyone now. He's a lovable guy. Hot Rock Hudson, 17 months of channel membership. Cody working the match heel was interesting. I thought Punk and Cena was good until... I didn't see Cody working the match heel. He was working the match smart. I think there's a difference. I think people need to understand the distinction between a guy who's suddenly working heel in a match or just, working smart and taking advantage of a situation. If he was working heel, I think it would have been a little more overt. I didn't read it that way. I think the story going into SummerSlam is going to be more, okay, I'm willing to do whatever it takes and not make the same mistake that I made back in Las Vegas. I didn't really look at it as him working heel. If anybody worked more heel in that match, it was Randy Orton. I mean, he's the one who tried to cheat. Can't let him off the hook. Also says, I thought Punk and Cena was good until freaking. I'll be happy when Punk and Seth is over. Cody and Punk restarts. Yeah, at some point we have to get that Cody and Punk match. To me, that's far more interesting than Cody and Cena. Maybe they're saving a Cody heel turn for that. Tucky Neutron, all hail King Booker. And there he is. Wow. Look at this guy. We had Boots with a $500 super chat earlier tonight. Punk was big enough to apologize to the people of Saudi Arabia for his tweet. I'm big enough to apologize to the Solomonster and the chat for this past Wednesday's We Hurts People joke. Sometimes you wake up feeling silly and jovial. Put something out for laughs. This is a moment of growth and a learning experience for me. I will attempt to be better. I want everybody to use this as a teachable lesson. This right here is truly a man who is comfortable in his own skin and understands when the time is right to just apologize for the bad things that we do. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. You might even say that Boots has been sitting under the learning tree. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think it's appropriate in this case. Boots, you are you are forgiven. You are absolved of all of your sins. I forgive you. Thank you, Boots. Boots is awesome. Jeremy Rose, think they should have saved Cody Cutter to RKO for a Randy win down the road, not just a random spot. I agree. I actually agree. Kross Sami finish was meh. Kross should have won by shenanigans. Hope there's more for Kross. I hope so too. Juster, Tanahashi's last year is better than Cena's last year. I haven't even been following everything that Tanahashi has been doing, and I agree with you. It has been better. Grapevine fires. Is this as good as Jade can be in the ring? It feels like her improvement has been minimal at best since joining WWE. I hope not. I hope that her working with people better than her, Asuka certainly is. I hope that will help her along the way. I think part of the problem, honestly, when it comes to someone like her, and Jade she looks like a superhero, and this is a company that puts a premium on that sort of thing. You look at her, and she just looks like a superstar. She's going to do big things no matter what, right? Maybe this is her ceiling in ring as far as the quality of her matches. I don't know. So she's going to be fine. But I think she's someone who suffers from the lack of house shows. There are fewer and fewer live events now. WWE is hardly running any house shows anymore. And I feel like at a different time, she's someone who greatly would have benefited from having a schedule where she would have been in the ring, not on TV, but she would have been in the ring, able to work matches against veterans, whether it's people like Natty or whoever. There are plenty of veterans on that roster. Over and over, night after night after night, being able to work those people. She's someone that would have benefited from that. She would have benefited from a proper run in NXT, really. But the fact that they run so few live events actually hurts people like her, who I think would greatly benefit from something like that. Liquid Sharingan, thank you for 38 months of channel membership. Holy shit. It's a long time. Zizu, 2 gifted memberships to 2 brand new channel members. We got Pudgy. I hope YouTube fixes these names. I'm sure these are all people like I know who they are, but like looking at their handles, I have no idea who they are. Pudgy, one of the things I like about the Saudi shows is the creativity of the ladies in their bodysuits. Well, they shouldn't have to wear them, but I mean, you know, they do what they have to do and they make the most of it. What was that makeup that Rhea was wearing? I feel like that was based off a character. I don't know who she was supposed to be. Dried Chicken, we need Asuka against Io at SummerSlam. Let's will it into existence. Brother, I've been trying to. I would love to see that match. Jeremy Rose, do you think WWE taping SmackDown on Monday is the right move, or should they have just did a special Tuesday or Wednesday SmackDown? I'm saying that's a lot of wrestling for one crowd. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's going to be a 2-hour show. It's not a 3-hour show. Raw's 2.5 hours. SmackDown will be 2, 4.5 hours. It's not a short show. I might feel that way if SmackDown was still 3 hours. I don't think it's a big deal in this case. We got Majed. 9 months of membership. Greetings from Riyadh. It is wonderful to see you live, and I sincerely hope you are doing well. Well, I'm glad that you can join us. Were you at the event? I know a couple of people who were keeping me posted on the shows at the Kingdom Arena. And someone mentioned to me, who was, I think, at the show at SmackDown last night, that the attendance was awful. And they were just summoning people up to make it look more filled in than it really was. So I said, like, is it sold out? I mean, my impression was that the show was either...
I am the Lord.
Shut the fuck up.
Fuck that tree.
My impression was that the show was either sold out or close to sold out for today. And he said that that wasn't the case. So I would be curious if they did the same thing for Night of Champions that they did for SmackDown. And if the attendance was not great, if they just made sure they got these sort of tight shots of the arena there. Or maybe it was more filled in. I don't know. But he said tickets were very expensive. So that's a big part. Of course, I mean, it's TKO. Everything is expensive. Well, thank you, Majed. I appreciate you, brother. 9 months of membership. And look at this. Gifted 5 channel memberships, too. Bringing in 5 new members of the family to the sound off. I love it. Awesome. Bobby's World also with a gifted membership to Sick Mundus. We've got GMB. Do you think Bianca would get cheered as a heel, though? She told Sean Ross Sapp earlier this year that she would want to be a piece of shit heel, not a cool one. So then she could be a piece of shit heel. I mean, it all depends on how she's booked and the things that she does as a heel. If she doesn't want to be cheered as a heel, then there are things that you can do to try to make sure you don't get cheered. I mean, if she wants to be the most unlikable, contemptible heel that she can be, then she won't get cheered. I think it could work. I would like to see Bianca get a shot as a heel. Grant. I miss Pat Patterson. A lot of the finishes need a lot of editing today. Anyway, Punk and Saudi was good to see. Did you hear Triple H's comments on personal growth? I did not. It was nice for him to go seek out that kid, though, at the kickoff show yesterday that he blew off the other day. To go get that picture with him. I thought that was nice. Jeremy Rose, I feel like Punk wins the title against Rollins or WrestleMania. I could see that. I do feel like Punk finally winning the championship, if it happens, is probably a WrestleMania moment. Bobby's World. Gifted membership to Low King. 7235. Hey, Paul, what's going on, Paul? The Storm thing with Jade is so stupid. By the way, she looked like she was wearing a mask. Her face was so caked out. I thought she was just sweating because it was very hot over there. She looked like she was just pouring buckets at the end of that match. That's what it looked like to me. Vantic. Should John Cena win the Intercontinental title before retiring to become a Grand Slam champion? He has never held the IC title. No. No. At this point, no. Darth Panic, 38 months of channel membership. So when Cody wins the belt back at SummerSlam, what's next for him in terms of opponents? I feel like he has faced just about... Did you not hear me talking about Randy Orton? An extended feud coming up soon with Randy Orton. It's all right there. Sick Mundus with a $10 super chat. Thanks for all that you do, Solo. Hope you're having a great day so far. Mine was eventful. I got a picture framed, and now it's doing time upstate for armed robbery. Thank you, Sick Mundus. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's funny. You mentioned... I know you were joking, but you mentioned, hold on a second, framing a photo. Hold on a second. I want to show you something pretty cool. Hang tight. I want to give a shout out to Hal Haney, who has, actually he's got a website, but he's also got an Etsy store. And he does some really cool artwork. So I got a picture. I tried to frame it before. I didn't have time. This is a piece that he did. It's a fine art print, 11 by 17, nothing too big. But his artwork, like the work that he does, is really cool. It's really good stuff. So I'll show you here. I got it in the frame. But you can see it's all of the participants. I mean, I'm not really showing you a great image here, but these are all the guys. It's cut off here, but in the 1992 Royal Rumble. You see Flair on the bottom. There it is. It's really well done. Like you could see it. I posted a photo of it on Twitter. Really well done. I just gotta find a place to actually hang this thing now. We got Mr. Bank. Do you think Cena wins his 18th in December? His 18th World Championship? No, I do not. I don't even know why you would suggest a thing like that. We got Laid Back Lashar. It's over Solo's fireplace. Hey, if I had a fireplace, I might actually hang it up on my mantle right by the fireplace. Laid back Lashar. I feel like Cody is getting booed at SummerSlam. What do you think is the cause of this subtle turn? I just talked about it. I think it's more him beginning to show that he is willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done and get that belt back against John Cena at SummerSlam. I don't think you're wrong to assume that the crowd may turn on Cody at SummerSlam. Remember, SummerSlam is in, well, technically it's New Jersey, but it's like WWE, New York. New York, New Jersey. They're in the tri-state area, and these New York fans are going to be there, and you never know how a New York crowd is going to react. So is there a possibility that they may turn against Cena or Cody, especially with this being Cena's last year? It's possible. I don't know. I still feel like they're not ready to turn him heel just yet. Duff's Vids says, poop jokes aren't my favorite kind of jokes, but they're a solid number 2. Solid number 2. You always want, you do want them to be solid. Very important. Make sure you get enough fiber in your diet. Fox Boom. I love you, Solo. And 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet. Yeah, the Yeet Man was not there tonight. It's kind of surprising. New Jersey is a suburb of New York to WWE. It is. Duff's Vids, 2 slices of bread got married. The wedding was amazing until someone decided to toast the bride and groom. Oh, man. Damn, I hate when that happens. Rest in pieces. That's terrible. Q-Dog, 49 months of membership, no message. Just renewing for 49 months. Q-Dog, thank you. 1 month away. Dry chicken for WWE Evolution. We need Booker T, Wade Barrett, Vic Joseph, Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and female guest commentators. I hope there's a rotation for the commentary on that show. I'm curious why you selected those people. Why does Booker T need to be on the Evolution show? Or Vic Joseph or Wade. I mean, I guess. Okay, so I guess you're saying if there are NXT matches that the NXT commentator should be there for it. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like, I read that, I'm like, Booker T and Wade Barrett, they have to be on the Evolution show. I'm like, why? I assume that if they have brand specific matches, they will have their commentators there. Bobby's World gifted another one to Joe. KCU Unfiltered, 27 months. That's awesome. It's a long ass time. Happy to have you. Booker T exclusively for Stephanie Vicares, man. We got Erasha 90834. As the one submission in that could kill someone, sleepers are disrespected. People don't struggle enough and wake up after being out for a 2 count. Jey Uso didn't when he wrestled Gunther a few weeks ago. Every move, honestly, every move is disrespected. You really think about it. Every finishing move is disrespected. They kick out of it with impunity. Get back up, they don't sell it. Duff's Vids, I was robbed by 6 dwarves today. Not happy. He was always my favorite. Actually, no, Grumpy was my favorite. Big surprise, I know. Ed Swoggle, why is Peter Pan always flying? He never lands. Ugh. Ugh. Duff's Viz, why do people in Greece?
Look at Richie Rich over here dropping all this money on me. Hey, I just want you to know, I think you rock. I don't mean The Rock.
Is this who I think it is?
You rock. And I just wanted you to know that.
Is this who I think it is? I think it is. It's under a different name, but I think I know who this person is. D. Sharma. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is Tonga Loa Superfan. I could be wrong. Tonga Loa Superfan. I'm going to call you Tonga Loa Superfan whether you are or not, because you clearly are a Tonga Loa Superfan. The dream has been realized. Tonga Loa is back in WWE. I have no doubt this is just the first step on his way to achieving GOAT status. I wanted to thank you and your community for being like-minded in your appreciation of Loa. Brother, thank you for the $100 bomb. You could tell he's excited, man. He's basically like, it's making it rain here. He's going out to the club, man. He's having a party tonight. He's ready, man. He's got his nice clothes on. He's going out tonight. He's gonna drink. He's gonna have a great time, get a lap dance. Look, Tonga Loa Superfan. He might get one from Tonga Loa. Tonga Loa Superfan, you're the first person I thought of when I saw him tonight, and I'm very happy for you. I really am. And we'll see. We'll see all the things that you've been talking about, all the things you've been saying, big things in his future. We'll find out. Maybe they'll even let him cut a promo on SmackDown on Friday. I can't wait. Loa don't miss. At least not tonight. Well, yeah, tonight he didn't fuck anything up tonight, so that's good. He didn't forget his cue. Like, I still can't get over it, like when he debuted. He was under the ring, and he was late to interrupt the pin attempt. Oh, that's so Tonga Loa. Duff's Vids, though. Duff's Vids says, why do people in Greece hate waking up at dawn? Because dawn is tough on Greece. It's actually a pretty good one. Hey, you got a really good one there. I don't know where you got it from, but I like that one. Right, tears of joy for Tonga Loa Superfan. Donnie Yasu, it's late, but happy 100 to the Titans. Thank you, Donnie. We had episode 100 of TNT on Tuesday. Next Tuesday, it's 101. We begin our trek to 200. Bobby's World, haven't been watching much WWE lately, but didn't realize how much I missed Asuka until tonight. I think she will one day go down as an all-time great. I think she's already an all-time great status. When you look at her body of work over her career, I feel like she's already there. There he is. Tonga Loa Superfan, just read that one. And Rikinson. Whatever happened to Sexy Star? I think the better question is, who gives a shit? Nobody really seemed to like Sexy Star, especially after she took liberties that one time. Oh God, who was it that she in the armbar? It was somebody from was it Rosemary? Maybe it was Rosemary. It was somebody from TNA. There's a new Sexy Star. It's not the same person who was the old one. It's a new person. She's fine. But as far as the original Sexy Star, I don't really give a shit. Anybody who would do that to another wrestler, to me, like, should be blackballed from the industry. And you don't belong in the ring. I don't know why any wrestler would ever trust a person like that with their body to get in the ring with them after that. When you do something like that, that should be it for you. I know usually it's not, especially if you're a star. You'll always get booked, but to me that was just disgusting. It was Rosemary. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, just absolutely disgusting. Fuck Sexy Star. The new Sexy Star is fine, though. I have no beef with her. And Duff's Vids. Why should you never throw false teeth at your car? You might dent your car. Oh, Duff's. Duff's Vids. What would we do without you? Sexy Star 2 is no longer Sexy Star. Did she change her name? Am I behind the 8 ball on my Sexy Star knowledge? Well, the point is, though, that if there is a new Sexy Star, it may not be the original one, so don't hold it against the new person. Yeah, that was a terrible story. Rican Son also forgot to share last Sunday met Jacob Fatu at a comedy show. Cool ass dude. He is, when you meet him, he is very cool. I had a chance to meet him a few times, obviously, when he was the House of Glory world champion and working for us. And God, where was I when I I was in Tampa. I think I was in Tampa for the Royal Rumble last year. And him and Zilla were just, what is that bar? God, it's this huge bar. It's like right outside of or close by to where the stadium is. I guess it would be Tropicana. There was it's like a bar, but it's this huge piece of property, and they have seating inside and outside. God, I forgot the name of it, but they were just hanging out there. They were just hanging out, and everybody was, coming over, hey, get a picture, and they were like, yeah, no problem. So, he's super cool. I wish I could remember what that place was. Anyway, thank you guys.
It's the amazing
my
Gunther.
God.
Jerry
We're not
Lawler
done yet.
loves Gunther the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
Tonga Loa fan. Yes, I am Tonga Loa super fan. I will be unexpectedly busy with work for the foreseeable future. So this will be, unfortunately, my last message. I just wanted to prove to everyone that I was not the real Tonga Loa. Long live the Loa. Unexpectedly busy with work, huh? I wish you well. Feel free to stop in, though, when you're not on TV or at work. Whatever it is, again, that you do. Be kind of funny if Tama Tonga superfan all of a sudden starts showing up on these streams. Rican, some thoughts on the movie Cool World with Brad Pitt. Also, have you seen the HBO cartoon Spicy City? I have not seen either of the things that you just mentioned. So, unfortunately, I cannot comment on either one of them. But let me know if I should add them to my watch list. Anyway, you guys hit the likes goal, which is great. So, without any further ado, you know what time it is? Christopher just subscribed just in time. Christopher is joining us here on the channel. He has no idea how fortunate he is because it is time to be the booker.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time
to
be the booker.
Oh, yes. It is that time. It is time to be the booker. You're on the Night of Champions stream. We get one round each. We got to make it special. We got to make it count. We didn't have a great one last night, so I'm hoping we can have a rebound here. When am I adding managers to be the booker? I have a list of things I have to do as far as updates to be the bookers. So a manager's round is definitely on the agenda. So stay tuned. All right, we're going to do a tag team match. Love me some tag team wrestling. But it all depends on what teams you land on. And here we've landed on what WWE would tell you is the greatest tag team of all time. Now, I don't share that opinion, although they're pretty good. Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, kicking us off here and be the booker. Look at that. We got Jey Uso, former world heavyweight champion, here and be the booker. The Usos against the British Bulldogs. Now that right there, I mean, you talk about fantasy warfare, you're matching up past generation, current generation. That's a generational match right there. The Usos and the British Bulldogs. That is how you open up Be the Booker. That's what I like to see right there. That's why we do this. Women's Be the Booker. Awesome Kong, the former TNA Knockouts champion. Awesome Kong. Helped put that division on the map with Gail Kim. Many battles those two had. Let's see. Awesome Kong is going to be stepping into the ring with Roxanne Perez, the former NXT Women's Champion. How do you think that feud would have been? Roxanne, like current Roxanne Perez against Awesome Kong in her prime. Prime Kong against Roxanne. I actually think those two would probably have a pretty killer feud, honestly. I like how things are going so far. This has been going pretty well. Let's end it on a high note with our main event. Oh my goodness, we have the British Bulldogs in Tag Team Be the Booker, and in the main event, Davey Boy comes back out. He's pulling double duty here because we have the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. He's back. He's in the main event. Why is he pulling double duty? I have 200 people in this thing. We have plenty of people. The British Bulldog will be taking on who? The British Bulldog will be wrestling Jack Perry in our main event. Man, we were really building some momentum here. And I was really hoping for like a big time main event. We just got done watching John Cena wrestle CM Punk. I'm like, we need a main event like of that caliber. And then we end with the British Bulldog and Jack Perry. And just like that, clean sweep, ruined. Ruined. In the blink of an eye, it's all over. Faisal, welcome to the channel. I have let you down with that main event. I have sinned. I hope you can forgive me. Cry me a river. Oh, man. Dry Chicken says, are you a fan of Jurassic Park / World franchise? I am a fan of, I'm a fan of Jurassic Park, the original. I actually never saw the second movie, believe it or not. I saw the third one. Third or fourth one. It was not, maybe the third one. It wasn't very good. I am going to try to get to the theaters to see this new one, though. This new one looks interesting. So my plan is to try to go to the theater. I think it comes out on July 2nd. I would like to go to the theater to actually see it. So if I see the new movie, I will report back. I hope it's not one of these movies where I have to have seen the recent ones, because I haven't seen the recent ones, but this one looks interesting. So I actually might go to the theater and see it. Maze the Great. Don't see the show today. Went to Comic-Con, or didn't see the show. Went to Comic-Con and met someone of the chats. Yes, that is the song that rang out when I heard the news that SmackDown was going to 2 hours. Absolute cinema. David Thiering breaking in the brand new $40 cinema super chat. David always is, he's breaking in all the new ones. Every time we have a new one, he's usually the one breaking it in. David, thank you. I'm going to get to you in a second, David. Hold on a second. Maze the Great said he went to Comic-Con and met someone of the chat's childhood. The X-Men VAs Storm, Jubilee, Magneto, Nightcrawler, and Rogue. I was a big fan of the X-Men when I was younger. You know who would play a great Storm in a new X-Men movie? Jade Cargill. And then David Thiering with the brand new $40 super chat. What's up, Solo? Been listening to your review today and realized that you have a new super chat to try out. Let's give it a spin. Hope you are well. Great work as always. David, thank you. Thank you for all the support. Always hanging in there with me, brother. Oh, voice actors. X-Men V. I see. You were saying the X-Men voice actors. Storm, Jubilee, Magneto, Nightcrawler, and Rogue. I see. That is very cool. God, how many of these Comic-Cons do they have? I feel like every month is like some new Comic-Con type event. Man, they must make bank on these events. They must make bank on these events. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me in our Night of Champions review. Final PLE here for the month of June. Not the final event, though, because we have one more live stream here before we go flip the calendar to July. That's on Monday. And just remember, Raw is airing earlier on Netflix, so it's starting at 6 o'clock Eastern, so everything is bumped up 2 hours. Raw is bumped up 2 hours, and the review is bumped up 2 hours. So figure I will be live on YouTube probably around 9 o'clock. So that is the plan for Monday. But before we get to Monday, we have episode 918 of The Sound Off. That'll be dropping tomorrow. I'll have more to say about Night of Champions and some of the fallout from this show. Whatever news bits, we'll snack on all of them. We'll talk all the news of the week. WWE, AEW, take some questions. It'll be a fun time. So subscribe to The Sound Off. That way when the podcast drops in the afternoon, you will get a notification. You can go on in there and you can stream it. You can download it. You can make love to it. You can do whatever you want to it. As long as you tune in. You have full consent. Duff's Vids. Punk versus Seth. As Dusty said to Oli, it will never be over. Some people have said that about Jack Perry. I'm just kidding. Duff's Vids, thank you. You get the last word. All right, be well. Stay safe. Low King. Hey, Low King, you know what? Just for you, brother.
Oh, you got me, brother.
Thank you, Low King. I will see you guys back here for the live stream, the Raw post show, Monday at 9, and for episode 918 tomorrow. Until then, take care, guys.